Picture the dusty plains of the American West in the late 1800s, a time of danger, gunfire, and endless miles of unforgiving land. Cavalry soldiers rode into unknown territory, facing deadly battles and harsh conditions every day. But among these soldiers was a group that history often overlooked: African American troops known as the Buffalo Soldiers. In a world where racism tried to limit their value, these men proved their courage on the battlefield, and one of the bravest among them was a man named Brent Woods. His name is not found in most history books, yet he earned the highest military honor. The United States can give the Medal of Honor for risking his life to save others during the violent Indian Wars of the American frontier. This is the story of a man who fought not only enemies in battle, but also prejudice and injustice, and still stood tall as a true American hero. Brent Woods was born in 1855, just a decade before the end of slavery in the United States. He grew up in a country still deeply divided by race. Yet when he joined the U.S. Army, he became part of the legendary Buffalo Soldiers, African American cavalry units that helped protect and expand the western frontier. These soldiers faced extreme danger, harsh environments, and unfair treatment, but they served with pride and discipline. In this video, we will explore how Brent Woods went from a young black soldier in a difficult era to a Medal of Honor recipient, and why his courage still deserves to be remembered today. The American West was not just cowboys and dusty towns, it was a place of war, survival, and forgotten heroes. Long before movies turned it into legend, soldiers rode across burning deserts and frozen mountains, fighting for their lives every day. Among them were men history almost erased, African American cavalry soldiers called the Buffalo Soldiers. They fought not only enemies in battle, but hatred, discrimination, and a country that doubted their worth. One of those men was Brent Woods. Born in 1855, just years before the end of slavery, Woods grew up in a nation still divided by race. Opportunities were rare. Respect was even rarer. But when he joined the U.S. Army, he became part of something extraordinary. He became one of the Buffalo Soldiers' elite black troops trusted to protect settlers, patrol hostile territory, and fight in the dangerous Indian Wars of the American frontier. In one moment of extraordinary courage, Brent Woods risked everything to save his fellow soldiers under deadly enemy fire. That moment would earn him his highest military honor, the Medal of Honor, placing him among the bravest warriors in U.S. history. Yet today, very few people know his name. This is not just a war story, it is the story of a man who rose above racism, fear, and violence to become a true American hero, and whose courage still deserves to be remembered. Brent Woods was not born into comfort or privilege. He was born in 1855, in a time when African Americans were still struggling to find their place in a country that had only recently begun to free them. The Civil War had ended slavery, but it did not end prejudice. Black Americans faced discrimination in nearly every part of life, especially in the military. Yet, when the United States began forming all-black cavalry and infantry units after the war, thousands of African American men stepped forward to serve. These men became known as the Buffalo Soldiers, a name given to them by Native American warriors who respected their strength and fierce fighting spirit. Brent Woods joined these legendary ranks and became part of the U.S. Army during one of the most dangerous times in American history, the Indian Wars of the Western frontier. Soldiers were sent into remote and hostile lands where ambushes were common and survival was never guaranteed. Despite poor equipment, limited support, and unfair treatment, Woods and his fellow Buffalo Soldiers carried out their duties with honor. They built forts, guarded settlers, fought in brutal battles, and protected the growing nation. But Woods would go far beyond ordinary duty. In the face of deadly danger, he would perform an act of bravery so extraordinary that it would earn him the Medal of Honor, proof that courage has no color, and heroism knows no limits. To understand Brent Woods' heroism, you must understand what it meant to be a Buffalo Soldier. These African American troops were often sent to the toughest and most dangerous assignments. They rode into deserts with little water, marched through frozen mountains, and fought in battles where survival was never guaranteed. Even while risking their lives for the nation, they faced racism from fellow soldiers and civilians alike. They were paid the same but treated as less. Still, their discipline, loyalty, and bravery earned them respect on the battlefield. The Indian Wars were brutal and complex conflicts as the United States pushed westward. Native American tribes fought to defend their land, while U.S. forces tried to control it. Buffalo soldiers like Brent Woods were placed directly in these deadly confrontations. They protected mail routes, escorted settlers, and engaged in fierce skirmishes across vast stretches of wilderness. Every mission could end in ambush. Every patrol could turn into a fight for survival. Brent Woods was one of these men, a skilled soldier, a reliable comrade, and a cavalryman who knew the dangers he faced. When the moment came that tested his courage, he did not hesitate. While others sought cover, Woods ran toward danger. During one intense engagement in the Indian Wars, Brent Woods and his fellow soldiers came under heavy enemy fire. Chaos filled the battlefield. Smoke, gunshots, and fear surrounded them. In the confusion, one of his comrades was wounded and trapped in a deadly position. Most men would have stayed behind cover. Brent Woods did not. With bullets flying around him, Woods charged forward into enemy fire to reach the wounded soldier. He placed his own life in immediate danger, knowing that one wrong step could mean death, but he refused to leave a fellow soldier behind. Through courage and determination, Woods managed to reach the wounded man and pull him to safety. His actions not only saved a life, but inspired everyone around him. In the middle of violence and chaos, he showed what true leadership and selflessness look like. For this extraordinary act of bravery, Brent Woods was awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military award in the United States. It is given only to those who go above and beyond the call of duty at the risk of their own lives. For a black soldier in the 1800s to receive this honor was almost unheard of. Yet Woods earned it, not with words, but with courage under fire. Brent Woods lived quietly after his service. He did not seek fame. He did not demand recognition. He carried his bravery with humility until his death in 1906, and for many years, his story faded into history. But today, we remember Brent Woods was not just a Buffalo soldier. He was a man who proved that true heroism rises above prejudice. In a time when African Americans were denied equality, he stood shoulder to shoulder with his fellow soldiers and proved his worth on the battlefield. His Medal of Honor is more than a decoration. It is a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and the truth that greatness can come from anywhere. The story of Brent Woods reminds us that history is full of forgotten heroes whose bravery shaped our world. By remembering him, we honor not only one man, but every Buffalo soldier who fought for a country that did not always fight for them. Brent Woods showed us what it means to stand for others, to face fear head-on, and to never abandon a comrade.